Kreutz here outside of the Capitol where the Common concert is about to start soon. We are going to talk about something though that is sort of connected to the concert but a little bit different. You might be noticing this if you're here. You might be seeing men with and women with these shirts on right here. This is Malachi. Say hi.
Hey, what's up everybody? Malachi, amen.
He's with the California Urban Partnership. We'll touch base with him in just a second. But you might be noticing folks with those shirts on asking you to sign a petition. Well, turns out what they're doing is that they are asking people to sign a petition to help those who were incarcerated for marijuana use in the 90s, maybe small amounts of marijuana, to help them now become part of the marijuana industry as it sort of becomes a bigger, more corporate thing here in Sacramento and in California. So I'm here right now. First, we're going to chat with Stephen Clark. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up? Stephen is here petitioning. Want to show we're at Facebook. Hi, Facebook. So Stephen here is an example of somebody who was incarcerated for marijuana use, having a small amount of marijuana. You said less than 1 ounce.
Less than 1 ounce.
And you spent time, and it sort of impacted your life. So, in brief, little bit, tell Facebook right now just a little bit about your background. You're from here, Oak Park. Grew up in Oak Park. And how you were 17, you said, when you started selling and then got arrested, right? And how did that impact you?
Everything from financial aid to housing to being able to be employed full time. It has affected me in every possible way you can think of. Just on top of everything else, just seeing being an entrepreneur myself or being a business owner and seeing somebody else profit significantly from something that you do well and was arrested for it just bothers me.
You were saying that when you have a
bilateral club feet.
Bilateral club feet, and you sometimes smoke marijuana now to help medically with that, and that when you go to these cannabis stores, you said that it is hurtful and hilarious. What do you mean by that? Hurtful and hilarious?
It's hurtful in the fact that somebody else can have a job that you're very good at because you were systematically disenfranchised from that job. So it's hurtful in that sense. It's hilarious in the fact that nobody else could have as much experience with marijuana as me. So it's hilarious and hurtful all at the same time.
Yeah, and you were saying you were 17 in 1991 and you were about to become a father. And that is what made you make the decision to start selling, right? What went through your head at that time and said, that's what I should do? It was illegal, but you decided you were going to do it.
Options. I've never been a person with excuses. Having 18 operations, having bilateral club feet, having been told by doctors that I was never going to walk, and then walking and then having an accident, told I was never going to walk again. You get to a place where first of all, you want to be a good dad. You want to be a good father. You want to be a good provider. You want to be all those things that you've ever heard about. You're looking at this little wonderful ball of joy that acts like you and can't speak now, but for some reason can tell you absolutely everything they want.
Right.
And you want to give them everything. So it's kind of hard for somebody to tell me I'm not going to find a way. I've always found a way.
And now with this petition right here that you guys are asking people all these people we're kind of a little bit far away, just so you know, from where the concerts were, just a few blocks away, but all these people who keep streaming down past us are on their way to the concert right now. And this concert is really to bring awareness to issues like this. That's why Common and J. Cole are here. They want equality, and we're talking about issues of mass incarceration, and you were sort of part of that wave of mass incarceration. So bring it back to now. You say that you spent 4 months in prison, but that has, as a 17-year-old in jail, as a 17-year-old, but that's impacted your life to this day. You couldn't get financial aid. What else?
I couldn't get housing. I couldn't. Financial aid was a big thing. I went from Sacramento High School to Sacramento City College to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, to pursue a BA in art. To pursue a BA in art.
Yeah.
And just receiving financial aid with felonies is hard to impossible.
Right.
You have to write letters, you have to get approval from a dean, you have to basically go through references, and
right.
people have to basically speak up on your behalf.
And it's pretty hard having a federal.
Right. Right now, I drive for Uber. I drive for Uber alone because Lyft said no. There was 2 situations. They done a background check. The background check for Uber was a little bit more extensive than it was for Lyft. On the background for Uber, it says felony possession of marijuana. On the background for Lyft, it just says felony. So keeping the public safe, I wouldn't hire somebody I didn't know what the felony was either. So,
right.
But why are those still on there?
Right.
If we are repealing this law, if we're saying this wasn't that big, we're not going back and saying, well, these communities were devastated by these laws that we thought were going to help or were going to keep us safe, and now that didn't happen. So there's no reprieve for me. There's no go back and at least help me out.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us tonight, and we're going to talk to Malachi right now, who's going to talk to us a little bit more about the policy, and we're going to head back over to where a lot of the crowds are at the concert. If you walk by here at the concert, say hi to Steven. He's sitting here getting signing petitions, but also we'll have more of his story, more visual photos, the whole thing tonight on the LNT at 11 p.m. We'll be online after, so stay tuned for that. In fact, actually, I'm going to make sure I write my number down so you send me those photos.
Bam.
Hold on 1 second, everybody. Doing a little switcheroo of the numbers because I got to get photos from him for our piece tonight, for the rest of our story.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you, Steven, so much. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you also.
And he's also a poet, Hurricane
the Poet. Hurrikane. Look me up on Google.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And send me those pics and we'll be your piece tonight. Okay, so now I'm here with Malachi.
You can take the clipboard.
We're going to walk back to the area down more where people are lining up. This is Malachi with the California Urban Partnership. Malachi, we just heard sort of a firsthand experience from Steven about being someone who's been impacted by the laws in the 90s and now wants to be part of the industry now. What are some of the things that you've been asking the city to do specifically? What do you want them to do to bring these men back into the industry?
Well, specifically what we want them to do is make sure that the victims of the drug war are not left out of the $4 billion economy in the region from marijuana. We want them to waive all of the fees for the licenses, and there's a precedent in the city of Oakland that shows that you're able to track where the marijuana arrests were made disproportionately along the lines of race, and so you can identify who those people are by doing that, and then not just waive the fees, but also ensure that half of the licenses, just as Oakland has done to show us that equity can happen, half of the licenses should go to those who were disproportionately impacted by marijuana criminalization.
And do you think that the city have you been having good conversations with the city? How is that going? Are they, responded?
I think we are encouraged by Mayor Steinberg as well as Councilmember Jay Chenier, who has taken a leadership position on this issue in the city. We're encouraged by the discussions that we've had with them. And so, but now we're just waiting for specific answers to some of the questions that we've had around percentages of licenses, around the fees, which folks can't pay if they're trying to take care of their families. So we're asking those questions and we're waiting for specific actions. And so we're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. And you've been getting a lot of signatures today.
Oh yeah, almost 1,000, almost 1,000 signatures. And of course, if we had more than 30 people out here, we could have gotten probably closer to 10,000, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Malachi, and thanks all of you for tuning in. We'll have more on this story, sort of a deeper dive on it, more of Steven's story tonight on the LNT at 11 p.m. We'll be online after. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night, and hopefully you can enjoy the show. Bye.